Nocturnal Animals is not a nature documentary by any means, but it is a new film from Tom Ford, fashion designer turned filmmaker, so here are my thoughts. So Nocturnal Animals is based on a novel. I think it was Susan and Tony, or Tony and Susan. Book that came out in 1993. Wasn't really a bestseller upon launch, but it has been re-released and it gained worldwide acclaim. And our fashion designer turned filmmaker Tom Ford has returned to make another film. And this film very much draws you in from the get-go. You'll have memories and thoughts of Gone Girl and the girl on the train as you watch this film unfold, but it's nothing like that. It's a completely different and really interesting and engaging premise. So we have Amy Adams in a main role of Susan Morrow, who is an art dealer. She works in an art gallery. Now, Amy Adams, to start off with, she's having a phenomenal year, isn't she? Have you seen Arrival? She gave such a wonderful performance in that film. But in this film, she gives a little more subdued performance because she's not the main character in this film, as you'll soon see. She sort of is the secondary character to, I would say, Jake Gyllenhaal's character. But she still puts on a really engaging performance in this film. So what happens is, one day she gets a mysterious package in the post. The package turns out to be the new novel from her ex-husband. And he asks her to read the novel, give feedback, and also because he's going to be in town in New York, I think it's where they live, he'd like to meet up again, catch up with her. I think he's trying to promote the book. In this movie is the experiences shared of Amy Adams' character Susan as she reads the book and how it affects her. And then also you get this story of the novel itself, and you see that unfold on the big screen. Jake Gyllenhaal not only plays Edward Sheffield, who's the ex-husband of Amy Adams' character, Susan, but he also plays a character in the book itself, who is Tony Hastings. Now, Tony Hastings is a man with a wife and a daughter, and there's a really tragic tale of how they had passed away, and he's dealing and struggling with the loss. And this book deals with the ensuing, kind of, without giving too much away, the investigation that's taking place into their passing. But to further complicate things, you've also got the backstory as to how Susan and Edward, as husband and wife, drifted apart, and how Susan left him for another man, and the experiences and the reasoning behind that, which also makes it kind of like three different stories in one. Talking about the acting, we already know how powerful Amy Adams has been this year. You've seen her in Arrival. She puts on a really good performance in this film, but I think the film really does go to Jake Gyllenhaal. It's really his film. He owned the film because he conveyed so much emotion, anger, hatred, and sadness in both characters he played, because both characters are dealing with tragedies. The actual character who wrote the book, Edward, is dealing with the tragedy of a wife who left him, and the character Tony, who's in the novel that you see on the screen up here, is dealing with the loss of a daughter and a wife. So the non-linear plotline will confuse many people who are not really sure when it goes from plotline to plotline, and I try to make sense of it all, but that's the idea that Tom Ford wanted to carry across in this film. Now, Tom Ford's not the most accomplished director. He's no David Fincher by any means. He's only a new director, but he's crafted something really wonderful here. My concern with the film is that because he's not a very experienced director, it didn't feel polished at times. There were minor camera work issues, but that was nothing to detract from the main story, because this is one of his best films. And that's really saying something, because we haven't had a lot of really groundbreaking films this year. So I suggest you watch this, and I suggest you see it with a friend, definitely, because you're going to want to ask questions afterwards. And you know what my score for this film is going to be? Easily, it's an easy 4.5. Well done. There you have it, guys. That's my thoughts on the film. Let me know what you thought of the film. I thought it was great. Really engaging. The best Jake Gyllenhaal performance in a long time, since Nightcrawler for sure. Easily one of the best films of the year so far. And I hope it gets nominated for some Oscars, because we really need a film like this to get through. Let me know what you thought of the film in the comments box below. And I'll be back with more reviews soon. So take care, YouTube land.